Here.
Vice Chairman Ballhorn.
Here.
Trustee Cronster. Chairman Robinson.
Here. Consent agenda, following items are considered to be routine by the Reno Airport Authority and be enacted with one motion. Should the discussion be desired of any item, the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. Number one is approval of the minutes of the July 9th, 2019 regular meeting of the Reno Airport Authority. Number two is approval and claims requiring trustee authorization for the period beginning July 1st, 2019 and ending July 31st, 2019.
Make a motion to approve. Second.
Motion and a second. We'll vote with Ballhorn.
Yes.
Trustee Cronster. Trustee White.
Yes.
Trustee Ryder. Yes. Chairman Robinson.
Yes. Move on to, need a motion for adjournment.
So moved. Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.
I now call the El Reno Recreational Authority regular meeting, August 13th, 2019 at 9:34, or 5:34. Roll call will start with Ms. Ryder.
Here. Trustee Robinson.
Yes.
Trustee White.
Yeah.
Trustee Cronster. Chairman Ballhorn.
Yep. Consent agenda. The following items are considered to be routine by the El Reno Recreational Authority and will be enacted with one motion. Should discussion be desired on any item, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. Number one, approval of minutes of the July 9th, 2019 regular meeting of El Reno Recreational Authority. Number two is approval of claims requiring trustee authorization for the period ending July 1st, 2019 and ending July 31st, 2019.
So moved.
Second. Have a first and a second. We'll start with Ms. Ryder.
Yes. Trustee Robinson.
Yes.
Trustee White.
Yes.
Trustee Cronster. Chairman Ballhorn.
Yes. Discussion items. Number three, discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding the Crimson Creek annual pass payment requirements. What that is basically, we do an annual meeting membership, and then we also allow monthly, but we have no real way of making sure everybody pays their bills, and some of them are laxing and waiting for 2 months, 3 months, and still wanting to play golf but not pay their payments. So, we had a meeting the other night, and we talked about doing an ACH, where it's automatically comes out of your, like a checking account or something, to where it'll be the first of the month. If it happens to be insufficient, obviously if it's not paid and caught up, then your membership's no good, so you have to pay open green fee until you catch your membership up. And if you have two insufficient funds, then you'll just be not allowed to get back into that until the following year probably. That way we don't have Kevin and everybody hunting down people, or people saying they paid, that they may have paid somebody different, whatever the case may be, but it'll be a lot easier to police than a month by month.
So it'll be monthly payments.
It's still a monthly payment, like it is currently. The only difference is right now you can bring in a credit card when you're 2 months late and wanna pay it.
Catch it up.
Well, if you're not paying the payments for that month, then why would you get free golf? You're not paying for it.
Right.
You use it and then come back and pay it, but the idea is to pay your payments every month like you're supposed to. And it's too hard for the guys at the golf course to police that and to remember who is and who hasn't, and it'll just take the load off of a lot of trouble.
So is there any software that's with that program to be able to keep track of that, so they know?
We do have Golf
Now.
Golf Now may have a way with what we're using now, the software, to be able to do that, or we have it internally here at City Hall, I think, also. Can you do that also?
Well, not with the ACH, I could put them on accounts receivable, or, Matt, Sandy and I was talking about, we need to look at their software and see, because I was telling them, even as the ACH going to the bank, they're still gonna have to develop a report, that goes to the ACH, and it's gonna have to be kept track of in their software some way, so.
Right.
So what's the percentage of members that fall into this group?
Well, hang on, I'll jump in here, I'll make a correction. There's no members, it's not a country club, this is an open public course.
Okay.
Let's let's make sure and you said that, and I think we're kinda getting, but there's not this is a public course, so what we do is we offer, a discount. So what we're trying to say is that if you did it once a year, so we did that, if you remember correctly, we used to do, and we have two ways, kinda, Bob, and you're right on, I wanna make sure, you can pay annually, one-time fee.
Yes.
So if you wanna pay an annual one-time fee, you can pay that right now. And then you can, we bought a deal, people gripe, and so we know a lot of people can't handle the payments of $1,200,
One time.
$1,300 at a time, whatever it is, one time. So we said, okay, we'll let you pay it out throughout the month. When we did that, what they're doing is they're paying for a discount membership through the months of, let's say, March, April, May, June, too hot to play in July, so they don't pay July, they don't play August. Then they come back in and they catch up a little bit and whatever else. I would like to see it tweaked just a little bit more for a little more teeth of us. It's a discount what we give, and that's basically what it is. And we really, 2 years ago, if you remember correctly, we gave more of a discount to get people, to energize the course. And we went back, reverted back this last time back to the regular pay. And I said, well, you guys raised the rates. No, we went back to what originally it was 2 years ago. And we have to keep in line. Don't forget our gasoline's gone up, our fertilizer's gone up, everything's gone up. So we have to keep in line with that. But we want to be able to provide, I think, that service of letting them have a discount for those long-standing citizens that play golf every day or during the week or whatever else, so it kind of spreads it out. And many of us, for those guys, Bob can testify this, the guys that play mainly the Monday through Friday, guys, and then, so I'd like to see the deal where you pay a one-time annual deal, you have that option, or you have it taken out monthly, 2 monthly. Bob brought a good point up at the meeting last night. If they don't pay 2 months, then they're just not eligible to do the payment. I mean, I don't think you gotta let that year. I think that's the only thing I'm different from the board, and we can talk about it a little bit afterwards. But, because really, you're letting them come back in, and now, once again, you're putting it all on the guy at the clubhouse, or Marcia, or Rachel here, trying to keep track of who paid what, and what you owed for 2 months before. It's an opportunity we wanna provide, but it's something we don't have to provide. It's something that we choose to do. And we wanna be able to do that, but pay either one-time annual deal, or take it out through the credit card, do a draft, and sign up for a yearly contract. We ought to have a document that says it's a yearly contract, and you're allowing us to take that out once a month. If they're neglect 2 months out of that year, then they cannot ever get back in the program of doing that deal monthly. If they choose to get back in, they want a discount, then they can pay for it all up front. We're not the banker here. That's not our job to do that.
Correct.
So I think that's the way I would do it is that, just a small tweak, and really it was Bob's idea, a small tweak to give them an option of an annual fee, one-time annual fee, or a 12-month automatic draft with the signage of a contract, to provide that. And to make that you and Mr. Sanders, Mr. Fraser, make that a internal, document, basically. And then, if they don't pay, if they're failure to pay, the bank, 2 months out of that year, then they're not eligible to get back into that payout system. Now, that doesn't mean that they can't pay the annual fee to still get the discount they want to, but it's just one of those things, we're not gonna mess with that.
So setting up a better, making sure that they pay program instead of what it is.
I just think it's effective. I think, like I said, they're paying basically, what we're seeing is not everybody, and I wanna make that clear, it's not everybody, but we need to be fair to everybody else. Some people are paying the 6 months, like I told you, the golf playing time, because all their friends are out there, and then when it gets hot and they're not playing it, well, then they call the bank up and they say, I wanna delete that draft, and then they stop the draft, and they say, well, I'm gonna pay you. Tell Kevin, well then, like Bob said, it's putting it on our employees to keep track of something that they shouldn't do. I think it's what we're doing is, Tracy, is we are getting control of a document that says you can pay annually or biannually, and you can sign, and they sign that document. And really, honestly, one thing we did not discuss that I thought about later on, why not have one of those rules, kind of a conduct code that they sign up for? Because we depend on those, not non-members, we call them members, but, you know, but those people that play out there every day, we kind of, you know, they help us kind of help set the standard for the course.
Right.
But have that on there that, you know, I'm getting this discount and here's all the rules, I recognize all that, and sign the deal and be done with it.
So this action is gonna be different than what is stated here.
I'm gonna make a different motion, is what I was gonna do, but I want a discussion item with you
Yeah.
all to make sure that we were, after the meeting, Bob and I just talked here at the meeting, and we just were talking, just about what their comments were, and like Bob said, to me, like Bob said, he's right. If they don't pay 2 months, then we gotta, they're not gonna get back in the program. That doesn't mean that they can't take advantage of the discount. They can absolutely come here
He's
and
gotta pay it annually.
They gotta pay it annually, yeah, so, and that is one of those things, it takes us out of the loop being their parents. We're not their mom and daddy. And we don't do that for anything else. We sell pool passes and whatever else, so, anyway, does that make sense? So, Bob, is that what you, I mean, is that kind of what they discussed and?
Yep.
Well, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the annual pass payments of two choices: a annual one-time fee that they can pay, or they can take an automatic draft out of a ACH out of 12 months, with the condition that if they miss 2 months payment in that particular, in 1 year, then they cannot participate in the monthly takeout program, you know, but also to have a document generated for all discount holders to sign a commitment to the year or the monthly program. Does that make
Right.
sense?
Yes.
With an internal document that Mr. Frazier, Mr. Sandage comes up with. I make that motion.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. We'll start with Ms. Ryder.
Yes.
Trustee Robinson?
Yes.
Trustee White?
Yes.
Trustee Cronster? Chairman Ballhorn?
Yes. Motion for adjournment,
So moved.
all in favor?
Aye.
The hospital meeting, we really need to, Mr. Frazier, Mr. Sandwich, we probably need to do the council meeting first, because it has that in there, and then come back to the hospital meeting in order to take the action. Does that make sense to you, gentlemen? Because of the real estate, it has to be done by the council action, in my opinion. Is that right? Okay.
And the CUP requirement for the
So
hospital.
we'll just come back to this. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna go move on to the Eldon Municipal Authority first, and then don't let me forget the hospital authority. It's now 5:46. I now call the regular meeting of Tuesday, August the 13th, 2019 to order. Roll call start with trustee Ryder.
Here.
Trustee Robinson?
Yes.
Trustee Ballhorn?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Cronster? Chairman White?
Yes. New business deletions continues to the agenda time. Are there any? If not, move on to consent agenda. File item be considered routine by the Oregon Municipal Authority. They have one motion. Should discussion be desired on the item be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. Number one, approval of minutes of the July 9th, 2019 regular meeting of the Reno Municipal Authority. Number two, to acknowledge a temporary sewer easement from Deborah Wilson. And number three, approval of budget amendments for the fiscal year 2019 and 20, ending in June 30, 2020. And number four, approval of claims requiring trustee authorization for the period beginning July 1st, 2019 and ending July 31st, 2019. Anybody like to pull any of those items, 1 through 4 off? If not, do I have a motion for approval? I got a motion from Robinson,
Second.
second by Ballhorn. Roll call start with Ballhorn.
Yes.
Trustee Robinson?
Yes.
Trustee Ryder?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Cronster? Chairman White?
Yes. We'll move on to discussion items. Discussion E. Number 5, discussion consideration of possible action authorizing a midterm salary adjustment of $7,988.38 for City Manager Jeremy Frazier. we didn't have time to talk about this. This is something I put on the agenda because Mr. Frazier and I talked about, but I think it's best we put this in executive session. So we'll do that the very next meeting we have, an executive session, if y'all don't mind. So I'd like to make a motion to table. I guess, second? Roll call vote start with Ryder.
Yes.
Trustee Robinson?
Yes.
Trustee Ballhorn?
Yep.
Vice Chairman Cronster? Chairman White?
Yes. All right, number 6, discussion consideration, possible action to approve claims from Schwartz Paving Company in the amount of $356,007.30.
Motion approved.
I got a motion?
Second.
Got a second? Got a motion and a second. Roll call vote start with Ryder.
Yes.
Trustee Robinson?
Yes.
Trustee Ballhorn?
Yeah.
Vice Chairman Cronster? Chairman White?
Abstain? We'll move on to 7, discussion consideration, possible action to award bid for retaining wall replacement at Reno and Woodson.
Motion approved.
Second.
Okay, let's make sure we award the bid.
Yeah,
We need to
that's what I
make
was
sure-
looking at.
Yeah, we need to make sure we award the bid. Basically what this is the bid for the retaining wall. We're going through a series of some of the things we were during the storm, trying to repair. I know you all seen all the road work going around. El Reno's gonna be busy here with all kinds of construction here the next couple of months. You see on here, we got Elm Street, we got Country Club Road being redone, we got several other roads being done. Also, the end of this year, in the next couple of months, they're gonna start the bridge project on 81, out here by the White Oak. But this project is one of the ones that's been stormed. It's located right off Sunset, is that correct, Mr. Frazier? I always call it Mr. Frazier Road, he always likes to go check it out, move the cones, that's all. So, basically Jeff, his bids came in, and, we wanna award the bid to, Cimarron Construction in the amount of $432,750, is that correct? I make a motion, that we award that bid of $432,750.
Second.
I got a motion, and a second, roll call vote start with Ryder.
Yes.
Did you say yes?
I said yes.
Okay.
Trustee Robinson?
Yes.
Trustee Ballhorn?
Yep.
Vice Chairman Cronster? Chairman White?
Yes. All right, we'll move on to discussion consideration possible action to award the gravity sewer replacement. This is on Foster. Earlier you saw where we accepted the deal, the easement from Deborah. This is where they had the blowout line, Timmy, this down in your area. This is over there off of Foreman Road. We're replacing that interceptor line. Jeff, we had pumps down there for months. It was one of the biggest breaks we've ever seen in history. We've been around. Is that right, Jeff?
Sure.
I mean, so, we're giving awarding this bid to Lone Hickory Cattle Company, for the amount of $162,700. I make that motion.
Second.
And these are all put out to bid. These are just no bids. I got a motion I made, and second by Ballhorn. Roll call vote, start with Ballhorn.
Yes.
Trustee Robinson?
Yes.
Trustee Ryder?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Cronster? Chairman White?
Yes. All right, another one project based on the storms, just like these other ones. This is a replacement. Bob, this is in your area on Reformatory Road. It's a bridge, the only bridge that's down there on that one end. That's all there is, that one. So we went out to bid on this one, and like I said, we got Young Contracting was a low bid, and I want to award Young Contracting the bid for $149,100. I make that motion.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Bob, any discussion?
Well, are they redoing the culverts in there, do you know?
The culverts, they're basically taking the culvert out and building the structure.
It's gonna be a cement
It's gonna be a
structure,
cement
correct?
structure, that's what we're
Okay.
gonna do, yeah. We decided at that point in time over the years, Mr. Brown, they've had some, holes out there we've had to cone off, Jeff, Kendall, we've had to close that thing over the years. It's a wooden structure underneath there, we're taking that all completely out, and then we're replacing that with a structure we won't have any trouble with. That's the only low water area on that one. There's some tin horns on Skyview,
yes.
but we haven't had any problems with those as much as we have with this bridge.
Right.
So
Flow should be a lot better.
it should be a lot better, and it'll open that up a little bit, and it won't back that up.
Right.
That makes sense?
Yep.
It drains onto the prison land.
Now, obviously in a flood, it does back up even from Skyview back. But if it can flow faster and easier through there, hopefully that'll take away from that too, shouldn't it?
Basically, what the engineer designed this bridge based on not putting it's a box culvert, in order to widen it and deepen it out on both sides.
Right.
So the engineer, thought process is this will help the flow of water,
Good.
from what the numbers he wrote. Jeff, is that right?
Yeah, and the creek going from the east side up to the west, those culverts, we're gonna go in there and kind of grub it out,
Clean that up.
So we're gonna
Flows
take the
better.
grade all in there, just kind of clean that out a little bit.
Good.
But we're gonna wait till they get to the structure more, and what we might do, Jeff, Mr. Frazier, you might look into this, we might, think Bob extend that out with the contractor and have an addendum to have him clean that out while he's there, to be honest with you. You might just do that, Jeff, Mr. Frazier.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I got a motion, I made, and second by Ballhorn, roll call start with Ryder.
Yes.
Trustee Robinson.
Yes.
Trustee Ballhorn.
Yep.
Vice Chairman Cronster, Chairman White.
Yes. We'll move on to 10, discussion, consideration, possible action to award bid for project number K04, Elm Street paving overlay. Basically, we're gonna do Elm Street all the way from Choctaw, which would be that, right there at that concrete abutment that we did several years ago, all the way to Country Club. And then we already have currently Country Club Road being done from Elm Street all the way to Sunset. Is that right, Jeff? And there'll be mill and overlay and reconstruction. Mill and overlay and patch of the holes, so. And then they're gonna also come back and stripe.
So,
I got a motion and a second, and I do wanna say something at this point. Before we go further, just kind of remind me of something I wanna make sure that Mr. Frazier, Mr. Koba, and myself are very concerned with. We normally paint the crosswalks before school. And a lot of these projects that we're doing are in those areas that are gonna have to be redone. So we didn't wanna waste manpower on the city or anything else. Now, if you notice, they did do some paving, in front of the high school, and that, part of that contract, we added all that in there, just like these other ones, that they had to put back the sidewalk crossings. Is that correct, Jeff?
Correct.
So they'll have that done before school starts. You can see they were putting the concrete with the
Round 10, with the manhole.
the manholes today, so that'll all be ready for school Thursday, is what they told us. Is that right? So a lot of this other ones on Elm Street, we were going to go ahead and paint that, but we decided that since we're doing these projects, we're gonna try to do some of these projects, and we're still gonna come back and paint the crosswalks, but we're gonna try, because they're not that bad, but we always kind of do that around schools, just kind of one thing we do. So I wanna inform everybody, we're still gonna do that, that's still process, is that right? And Kendall, I know you were concerned with some of that, and we always do that, but that's just, it will go in our plans, is that correct, Mr. Frazier? Correct. Okay. All right, we had a motion, a second, no, I'm sorry. 4 is, we wanna make sure we award the bid to All Roads Paving for $263,260.
I had a motion by Ryder.
I got a motion by Ryder to approve,
Second.
I got a second by Ballhorn, roll call start with Ballhorn.
Yep.
Trustee Robinson.
Yes.
Trustee Ryder.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Cronster, Chairman White.
Abstain? Move on to 11, discussion, consideration, possible action, motion, accept project number F03, wastewater treatment plant improvements, known to monitoring station. This is through the CWRSF, project number ORF 13, -0003 CW, make final payments to Haynes Equipment for the amount of $24,199.71 and activate the maintenance bond. We're all ready to go on that one, right, Jeff? I got a motion. This was the final project up there for the monitoring system for the sewer deal. Motion by Robinson, second by Ballhorn, roll call start with Ball.
Yep.
Trustee Robinson.
Yes.
Trustee Ryder. Vice Chairman Cronster, Chairman White.
Yes. Move on 12, discussion and consideration of possible change order number 1 for project number J46, corrected to project number G-03, library floor of Davis, carpet not to exceed $1,000.
When the shelving and other things were removed from the library, there's some subfloor repair that needed to be done that wasn't anticipated when the initial contract was awarded. There's additional substitution of material. The actual difference is $466. I went ahead and made it not to exceed 1,000 in case there's some other minor miscellaneous.
We're figuring out once we move some walls and we move some things, we find that things were built where where they weren't supposed to be built and everything else. We found a secret door even, didn't we? So,
So move on.
I got a motion by Robinson,
Second.
second by Ballhorn, roll call, start with Ryder.
Yes.
Trustee Robinson?
Yes.
Trustee Ballhorn?
Yep.
Vice Chairman Cronster, Chairman White?
Yes. Motion for adjournment?
So moved.
I got a motion? I'll go back, I gotta go council first, and then I'll go that off. Don't let me forget that again, though, I appreciate it.
You got a
You have a
second, right?
second.
I got a motion second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned. It's now 5:58, Mr. Haynes, and I call the Reno City Council meeting to order. Roll call start with Councilwoman Ryder.
Here. Councilman Robinson?
Yes.
Trustee Ballhorn? Vice Mayor Cronster? Mayor White?
Here. Before we start, Colton, get up here. Would you do us a favor, would you lead us in the word of the Lord?
Would.
Holy One, we take a moment to remember that you are God and we are not. And yet you have not left us powerless. And so for our elected officials, I pray for JT and Bob, for Matt and Tim and Tracy, that they will have your wisdom today and in the time to come as they lead your city. I pray for Matt and Jeremy, for Roger and Lindsay, and a whole host of other people who do not sit on this dais, who enable and equip them, and who lead us in the goodness of our city. Remind us, God, that we may be rich in the eyes of our neighbors, but that will mean nothing to you if we are not kind. Remind us, God, that we may be famous in the eyes of the world, but that will mean nothing to you if we are not hospitable. And so as we go to do our work of leadership and love for this city, may we always keep in the center of our hearts the ones that you have called out as the people you are concerned with, the poor and the alien, the orphan and the widow, and that these siblings matter deeply to you, and so they must matter to us. We pray for your grace upon grace. We pray this as one city, proud of our roots. May it be so. Amen.
Join me in the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Colton. Don't leave. Tell us what's going on. Colton, how you doing? Everything going? Tell us what's going on at the First Christian Church.
Things are going well. We are getting back into school starting, so we will be having training for Logos, which is our flagship youth program, which is intergenerational and seeks to bring together folks who are knee-high to a grasshopper all the way to 97, who is our oldest member. And so all of us will come together to study the Bible, to worship together, to eat, and also play. We were at Blessing Baskets today doing summer food distribution. That's why I am dressed so, not to disrespect this institution, but because I was out there working, mostly in translation help for registration, but that's part of what we're doing today. And then Lunch Bunch starts on Thursday. And so all the high schoolers, 10th grade through 12th grade, who are willing to cross Rock Island, the cars will mostly slow down for you, and we hope you'll come and get a free hot lunch. So.
And the bunch that does that, those ladies, they do a good job with that. I mean, it's a fun deal.
Yes, they do.
It's a good deal.
It's mostly grandmas cooking the food. You know it's good.
Pretty good food, yeah.
So.
Colton, thank you so much. We appreciate everything you do for us and appreciate you being so involved with our community. First Christian Church has always done a great job. Love you being a part of it. I love seeing you at all the functions, and you always bring a breath of fresh air to our community, so thank you so much. And I appreciate you acknowledging your 97-year-old. Roger, he acknowledged you.
Huh? Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I'm on the younger end.
That's right.
Thanks, Colin. All right, we'll go into award proclamations, employee presentation time. Proclamation, I want to declare August the 27th, 2019 to be Cart House Day. C-A-R-T, and that's the day of Reno. We're still working on the proclamation. I'll be able to present that to Matt and his group. They do a great job. The Cart House is a big need for our community. I served on that board for several years. It's a great organization. Helps a lot of need that when kids are in troubled times, that's really a place that's absolutely needed. So appreciate them. We'll go on to new business deletion continues to agenda time. Consent agenda, are there any? If not, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Final item to be considered routine by the El Reno City Council may after one motion. Should discussion be desired on that item, that'll be removed from the consent agenda, considered separately. City manager recommends that we approve, number one, approval of the minutes of July 9th, 2019 regular meeting of the El Reno City Council. Number two, acknowledge temporary sewer line easement from Deborah Wilson. Number three, approval of budget amendments for the fiscal year 2019 to 2020, ending June 30, 2020, and approval of claims requiring council authorization for the period beginning July 1st, 2019, ending July 31st, 2019. I got a motion from Robinson. Second from Ryder. Roll call start with Ball.
Yep.
Councilman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Ryder?
Yes.
Mayor White?
Yes, we'll move on to F, audience participation. Anyone having business to present to the city council does not appear on the agenda, please come to the podium at this time, state your name and address. You're required to limit your presentation to 3 minutes. That item must be presented. It has to be pertaining to the city of El Reno business. Anyone? Anyone? Bueller? Okay, we'll move on. Go to discussion items. Number 5, discussion consideration possible action authorizing midterm salary adjustment, $7,988.38 for city manager Jerry Frazier. Make the same motion as we did in authority. Second.
Yeah.
For authority?
Second.
I got a motion by, I made the motion, Robinson made the second. Roll call, let's start Ball.
Yep.
Sorry about that.
Councilman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Ryder?
Yes.
Mayor White?
Yes. Number 6, discussion, consideration, possible action, approve claim from Schwartz Paving, the amount of $356,007.30.
Make a motion for
I
authority.
got a motion per authority.
Second?
I got a second. Roll call, vote start Ryder.
Yes.
Councilman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilman Ballhorn?
Yep.
Mayor White?
Abstain. We'll go on to 7. Discussion of consideration possible action to approve approval of preliminary plat at Crossroads Point Phase 2 addition to the city of El Reno, Oklahoma. Okay, Mr. Sandage or Mr. Dustin, which one? Dustin, come on. Can't wait for you. Get up here.
This is an extension of the first phase of the plat. It allows for 3 new lots to be developed. I firmly believe that last lot will be subdivided again. So it probably won't end up being part of the final plat, but they are, it extends these 2 roads, provides fire hydrants, etc. It's been through the gambit from the city officials and is okayed, and it, most importantly for this meeting, allows for item 8.
Okay? Thank you. This has gone before planning commission.
Yes,
It passes 100%.
absolutely.
Have a motion? We got a motion?
Second.
Second. Roll call start with Ballhorn.
Yep.
Councilman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Ryder?
Yes.
Mayor White?
Yes. We'll move on to 8, to conduct a public hearing, consider a request by the city of El Reno to grant a conditional use permit for the hospital and other related medical uses on tract of property within the northwest quarter, Northwest 4, Section 22, Township 12, North Range 7, Indian Meridian, Canadian County, Oklahoma, within Crossroads Point, PUD, PUD. I now consider this public hearing open. Basically, what we have to do here is, I made a deal when we didn't know about the helicopter landing and everything else that was in discussion on the preliminary deals. So we discussed doing a CUP for medical services. And we need to make sure that all this is done and everything else. So basically, what we need to do here is accept this plat so we can close on land and get started with the project. Currently, the project is in the hands of the State Department of Health with the facility, the medical facility that we're building. We still are on track, from the way I understand, Mr. Frazier, of a mid-October groundbreaking is what we're still shooting for, with no problems so far we've seen. We've had to make some major hurdles, but we've crossed every one of them. Everything's still on track. This is part of the process that we're going through. This is on our list to do. Is that right? In the time frame we're done?
This cleans up the zoning, yes.
This cleans up the zoning, makes it allowable. Is that right?
That's great.
Okay. Any other discussion? Anybody here against the PUD? Anybody here with any questions with the PUD on the northern side of I-40 and the Carsway Points? Anyone? I now consider this public hearing closed. Going to be discussion consideration possible action request by the city of El Reno to grant a conditional use permit for the hospital and other related medical uses for the tract property within the northwest quarter, northwest 4, section 22, township 12, north range 7, west of Median Meridian, Canadian County, Oklahoma, within the Crossroads Point PUD, P-U-D. I got a motion?
Second.
I got a second by either one of them. Ryder, Bob, roll call, start with you.
Yes.
Councilman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Ryder?
Yes.
Mayor White?
Yes. We'll move on to 9, discussion consideration possible action on ordinance number 9199, a request by James Murphy to reclassify zoning district from single-family residential R1 to commercial office CO on the tract of approximately 0.65 acres located on the southwest corner of the golf course drive and South Country Club Road within the southwest corner of section 7, township 12, north range 7, Indian Meridian, and Canadian County, Oklahoma. Mr. Murphy, you and I talked, basically, Mr. Ogilvy, that was kind of part of the resistance, I guess, called me this weekend, went by and talked to him. I think we're close to getting this done. Mr. Murphy turned in a site plan. There's just some small questions the neighbors want to do. I didn't even realize it was on the agenda till this weekend when I read my agenda. I went out and called Mike. Mike asked if you wouldn't mind if he gets some people together, and he wants to go to lunch with Mr. Murphy and I, so we can maybe answer some of these questions the neighbors have, instead of taking the time up here, because we think we can maybe get it worked out. Everybody wants to correct it, but I think if we can kind of do that and table this item to next month. I called Mr. Murphy. You don't have a problem with that, Jim, at all? No problem. And I think, and Jim and I both agree that we want to be comparable to the neighborhood, and we want to hear what they have to say. I think we can make the small changes they want.
So,
I make a motion table. I got a second by Ryan.
Councilman Ballhorn?
Yep.
Councilman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Ryder?
Yes.
Mayor White?
Yes. All right, we'll go to 10. To conduct a public hearing, consideration request by Cheney Haynes and Stanley Graves to reclassify zoning district of a tract approximately 0.5 acres located in the northwest corner, northwest 4, section 17, township 12, north range 7, west of Indian Meridian, Canadian County, Oklahoma. Thank you, Jim. From rural agriculture A1 to single family residential R1. I now consider the public hearing open. Dustin, item was presented to the planning commission. Basically, Mr. Haynes has been a long time resident of El Reno, along with Mr. Graves. Stanley both have. They own some property along here. They wanted to kind of clean that up. There was an opportunity for them to purchase this property, and they came in and they bought this property from the adjacent landowner. They wanted to clean it up and basically make it part of their property, so they're going to take it out of an A1 agricultural, which it was, and form that to their pieces of property, which is R1, single residence deal, so it goes on their books to clean it up. It'll make it a nice piece of land. It passed planning commission with no problems, is that correct?
That's correct.
And basically it cleans everything up, and that's why they wanted to buy it. It just makes your property, Mr. Haynes, you and Stanley, just makes it better and shapes it more the way you want to, that you all take care of and maintain. Is that right? Okay. Any other questions? Anybody here in protest or any questions based on Mr. Haynes and Mr. Graves' rezoning? Anyone? Anyone? I now consider the public hearing closed. We're going to be discussion, consideration, possible action, ordinance number 9200, ordinance requested by Cheney Haynes and Stanley Graves to reclassify zoning district to tract approximately 0.5 acres located within the northwest 4, section 17, township 12, north range 7, Indian Meridian, Canadian County, Oklahoma, from rural A1 to single family R1. I make a motion we approve. I got a second by Ballhorn, roll call start with Ballhorn.
Yep.
Councilman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilman Ryder?
Yes.
Mayor White?
Yes. Going to 11, to conduct public hearing, consideration request by TPC Construction to reclassify zoning district, a tract located on the southwest corner of Elm and Abbey Road within the northwest corner, section 17, township 12, North Range 7, Indian Meridian and Canadian County, Oklahoma, for single-family R1 to commercial office CO. I now consider the public hearing open. Okay, Dustin, this is Mr. Schaefer's property, and it's represented by the construction company, is that correct? I'm guessing all this, is that right? Yes. Okay. This went before planning commission. Couple questions I have. Sure. And I don't have a problem with the rezone, that's what it needs to be. But, what about, and of course, we haven't got anything yet, on the plans, have we?
They've shown me a conceptual, but it's obviously just a conceptual.
But I guess my point to you is once we convert this from a single R1 to a commercial office, my only concern with that property is it's a low-lying area. I want to make sure the runoff is good. But the way I read the codes was underneath that, and once we change this, he's going to be under more restraints to do a flood containment area if we change this, just to make that consideration.
Certainly, any development that changes runoff is going to have to mitigate that change.
And we'll have basically a retention pond or whatever else in your area. I knew you'd do that, but you're gonna have to. The other thing is, does he have to, now that we're kind of past all this is kind of a eternal question, does he have to get a conditional use permit?
We specifically left off specialty offices like dental offices and eye doctor things.
I think now that we're on the process of doing this, just housekeeping issue doesn't have anything to do with him, but he brought it up for being up here. We probably ought to go ahead and take that off now for the conditional use permit for medical facilities. Does that make sense? We did that to protect us. We don't need to do that. And I would hate to see it hold up any project on that, because I know there's another dentist in town wanting to build another project, so I want to make sure that didn't come in and play. Is that right? That's
correct.
So I need to bring that up. We need to bring that up to the next meeting.
We can do that.
Okay, just change that back. Just take that off. That's all the questions I have. Basically, it's brought for the planning commission. It's a no-brainer. It's a good piece of land. Doesn't have very good neighbors, but
We'll live with that.
yeah, Brian is right behind it. That's
Commercial offices
So, I mean,
makes
that's
a
what
lot of
the
sense in
land-
that area.
It's made for that. It's gonna be a good location, good project. Nobody had any questions. Nobody had any complaints.
A couple of questions, no complaints.
They were all answered.
Yes.
Passed 100%.
That's correct.
All right, any other questions? Any other comments? All right, now consider public hearing closed. Will be discussion consideration possible action ordinance number 9201, an ordinance request by TPC Construction to reclassify the zoning district of the tract of land in the southwest corner of West Elm and Abbey Road within the northwest corner, northwest 4th, section 17, township 12, North Range 7, and Indian Meridian, Canadian County, from single residential R1 to commercial office CO. Make a motion we approve. Second by Ryder. Roll call start with Ryder.
Yes.
Councilman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilman Ballhorn?
Yep.
Mayor White?
Oh, yeah. Going to 12, discussion consideration possible ordinance 9202, ordinance amending section 270-11 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Reno concerning oil and gas drilling regulations declaring an emergency. Basically, I was approached by a group, and it makes sense to me. We'll see what you guys think. With the ordinances we put in place, we've absolutely, I feel like, maybe I'm the lone guy, but we have protected our citizens, and we need to continue to do that. Have you all drove out there and saw the trunk wall? I call it the trunk wall.
Yeah.
But it worked, and I think they were happy, as best they can be. I mean, it worked out good. They did everything they said they were gonna do. They repaired the road. They put up the wall. We didn't have any complaints, as far as I know. I mean,
A couple.
well, after the fact?
What was going on, yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear any complaints up at City Hall. We didn't hear any
Well,
complaints.
no, that was just through look.
Oh, okay, I got you. I was gonna say, yeah, we didn't hear anything here. So, basically, you know, it's a good thing. Saying that, it was brought to my attention, it makes sense. El Reno's 85 square miles. So our ordinance, Dustin, basically, if you have 1,000 feet, a property within 1,000 feet, or a home residential within 1,000 feet, then basically they had to put up, I call it the trunk wall, a wall, whatever it is. Is that correct?
They have to mitigate the sound. We don't require it to be a wall, but it generally is.
But generally, in order to mitigate that, they have to do that. So what they're running into is that in these 85 square miles, they're going out in the country somewhere, and there's like one house out there, and now they're having to put this wall up, basically from a farmer who really didn't care in the first place. But our ordinances don't allow that, you know, so they have to mitigate the noise. So, and there's a couple instances which they show me, basically it's a farmer's land that's gonna get the minerals that they're drilling on. He don't care if they're doing it or not. So what we come up with is if they come up and basically we're gonna let them not put a wall up, you know, and do the mitigation, if they get 100% of the people in that area to sign a paper, turn in with a permit, that basically, that they can forbid it.
Within that 1,000 feet.
Within that 1,000 feet, so it's not, so even without that 1,000 feet, didn't have any right to it anyway, so it doesn't matter. But the 1,000 feet basically allows those people to go to those landowners and work a deal out with them, you know, either, you know, give them monetary money or work a deal out with them or however they want to, but they have to have 100% of the landowners to do that. So it puts the responsibility on the oil field company in order to do that, but also gives them an out to save money to them to where they can work the deal out with the landowners. Does that make sense? Because what's happening is they're going out to these rural areas now, and because it's in city limits out by like Wildwood or wherever else, there's a farmhouse there, and under our zoning laws, we can't do that.
They got one no, we would still require the bucket.
If they got one person not to sign that, say that there's two people that fall in that 100 or that 1,000 feet, and one person says, I don't agree with it, then it's, they have to do it.
Yep.
If there's 25 people and 24 people sign it and one person doesn't,
They build it.
they build it.
They build it.
That makes sense? I mean, it's a fair shake for everybody.
It is.
So I thought it was pretty good.
And just a little bit to piggyback off of that, this also continues to protect the other protected land uses that we talked about at that time, whether that be city buildings or churches or schools or other kinds of infrastructure.
Okay. All right. And then it went to planning commission,
It did.
and it passed.
It did.
Okay. All right.
Not unanimously, but it did pass.
Yeah, one person. I don't know. All right, okay. All right, I'll make a motion, we approve, or, the section, the amended section of 270-11 of the code.
Second.
I got a motion, second, roll call, let's start the ball on.
Yep.
Councilman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Ryder? Mayor White?
Yes.
Make a motion, we declare an emergency.
I got a motion for emergency,
Second.
I got a second, roll call vote, start with Ryder.
Yes. Councilman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilman
Yep.
Ballhorn? Mayor White?
Yes. Item 13, discussion and consideration of approved request from El Reno School Superintendent Craig McVeigh to create a four-way stop intersection of Pine and Morrison, declare emergency due to school start date of August 15, 2019.
So,
Basically what this is, now that we have an agreement with the school that we're leasing the old, what I call the old Lincoln, which is, there's a new Lincoln, but the learning center, we're gonna start calling it what it is. Right there, the intersection, that is a bus drop off for lots of kids. They come there to that neighborhood and they cross the intersection. So you have a lot of little kids that come up there. Mr. Brown and I met with them just to look at the stop sign. We were out and about doing something else. They kind of pulled us in. We went and looked at it, and basically, I'm normally against stop signs because I don't think they fix everything. But I do think it's a good situation for that because of the school area. Morrison's a through street until you get down to where Morrison turns into Dwayne, and there's a four-way stop there at Ash and Morrison and Dwayne, where it goes into Dwayne. But that's a lot of time to get some speed going down there. There's softball fields there on one side, there's a swimming pool, you know what, I think it's a good move.
I do too.
So,
That'll help fix the drainage there in Washington.
well, we're gonna fix the drainage on Morrison too, that's what Lloyd,
Joke.
yeah, I appreciate you bringing that up, Ken. I'll make sure Lloyd at least calls you tonight instead of me.
Motion approved.
I got a motion we approve, second by Ryder. Roll call start with, Ball.
Yep.
Councilman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Ryder?
Yes.
Mayor White?
Yes.
Motion to declare an emergency?
I got a motion by Ryder to declare emergency, second by Ballhorn. Roll call vote start with Ryder.
Yes.
Councilman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilman Ballhorn?
Yep.
Mayor White?
Yes. Number 14, discussion consideration possible action regarding agreement with TGCCS LLC for Country Club Square.
It's an agreement that Mr. Reinhardt and the attorney for Tallgrass Capital, the developer out at Country Club Square, that they worked together on. Basically, Tallgrass Capital Development Group wants to split a lot from that development and sell it, develop it. But one of the things that they hadn't done was move the Tractor Supply outdoor display south of Tractor Supply, which was the intent when PUD was adopted back in, was it 2014, somewhere in there. And so that was one of the contingent items there, that, and also fixing the parking lot and the lighting. I went by it today and it looks very clean. They fixed the parking lot, everything that belongs to them. And then they've also moved the Tractor Supply outdoor display south of Tractor Supply. And so, they've got it cleaned up, and so, that was the requirements of the agreement, and so I, recommend approval.
Ben, I wanna hand it to staff and Roger, and, you know, I have personally fought this guy for how long, Ken, Matt, I mean, he just did, he's an out-of-town owner, and we fought and hung up on him on the telephone and everything else, but I'm gonna tell you right now, we had this hammer, the city did this, we've been holding fast, and I appreciate city staff, Mr. Frazier for doing all this, and it's been even before you, this is, I don't know if you had the pleasure meeting yet. I'll make sure he calls you next time. But, anyway, it's a better deal, so I'm glad it's all done. So we have a motion.
Motion approved.
I got a motion by Robinson. Second by Baldwin. Roll call, let's start with Ryder.
Yes.
Councilman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilman Ballhorn?
Yep.
Mayor White?
Yes. All right, number 15, discussion consideration possible action to approve ordinance number 9203, ordinance of City of El Reno, Oklahoma, amending the code of ordinances, City of El Reno, Oklahoma, chapter 205, food truck services and mobile food services, providing repeal and severability and declaring emergency. Basically, Lindsay and Shelley helped me come up with this. What's happening is Canadian County, the county, is basically having food trucks once a week during the summertime come out and park in their parking lot over here across the street from our area right here, Catty Corner. And during that process, we've kind of adjusted all this over the years, trying to figure out how this food stuff works. You know, we want to be fair to people that have businesses, you know, and people that, you know, want food trucks. But they have different food trucks come in every week or month?
I think it's once a month.
Yeah, once a month or 2 weeks or something. But basically what it does, it comes in and instead of paying, you know, a yearly fee, what we're allowing to do, Lindsay, is do a daily fee, is that correct? I mean, I'm sorry, we're allowing Canadian County to buy a permit, basically to cover them the whole year, is that right?
Well, they're considered an exemption,
I mean, exemption, I'm sorry.
along with public school district, and that'll help the school district with their summer food program.
Because once we get in there and talk to McVeigh, Hertz Donut and some other stuff, they have little events for them to come over for fundraisers for the kids. But basically, it allow them to go ahead and have the county and the school, basically, they don't have to have a permit and waive that fee for them as they have that. Does that make sense?
We did add language to the exemption that they still have to abide by the state laws and
The health
state license
department,
requirements.
yeah. And they have to have a health department license.
Mhm.
Yeah. Any other questions? Have a motion for approval? I got a motion?
Second.
Second, roll call start with Ballhorn.
Yep.
Councilman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Ryder?
Yes.
Mayor White?
Make a
Yes.
motion. Make a motion, we declare emergency?
Got a motion?
Second.
Got a motion second, roll call start with Ballhorn.
Yep.
Councilman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Ryder?
Yes.
Mayor White?
Yes. Number 16, consider possible action to approve resolution 2005, resolution regulating the fees and penalties under food truck vendors mobile food services license set forth in chapter 205 of the Code of Ordinances.
This is just cleaning up our fee schedule to be more comparable to other
Other
cities.
cities.
Second.
We got a motion to second. Roll call, start with Ryder.
Yes.
Councilman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilman Ballhorn?
Yep.
Mayor White?
Yes. You don't have to do emergency on this one?
No.
All right, we'll go on to 17, discussion, consideration, possible action, award bid, project number KO1 retaining wall on Reno and Woodson.
For authority.
I got a motion for approval per authority.
Second.
Second, roll call vote, start with Ryder.
Yes.
Councilman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilman Ballhorn?
Yep.
Mayor White?
Yes. We'll move on to 18, discussion, consideration, possible action, award bid, project number K2, 18-inch gravity sewer replacement on Foster.
For authority.
Per authority approval.
Second.
Second by Ballhorn, roll call start with Ballhorn.
Yep.
Councilman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Ryder?
Yes.
Mayor White?
Yes. Number 19, discussion, consideration, possible action to award bid, project number K-03, bridge replacement on Reformatory Road.
For authority.
Got per authority. Second by Ballhorn, roll call start with Ryder.
Yes.
Councilman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilman Ballhorn?
Yep.
Mayor White?
Yes. Move 20, discussion, consideration, possible action to award bid, project number K-04, Elm Street overlay. I got
Second.
Ryder jumped in there. I got
Thank you.
motion for Ryder.
It's getting hungry.
Second by Robinson. That threw me off. Roll call start with Ballhorn.
Yeah.
Everybody gets played.
Councilman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Ryder?
Yes.
Mayor White?
Abstain. Move on to 21, discussion, consideration, possible action, award number F03, wastewater treatment improvement plan, known as monitoring system, for the project number ORF 13003 CW, make final payment to Haynes Equipment in the amount of $24,199.71.
For authority.
I got a motion by Ballhorn for authority.
Second.
Second by Robinson. Roll call start with Ryder.
Yes.
Councilman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilman Ballhorn?
Yep.
Mayor White?
Yes. 22, discussion, consideration, possible action regarding change order number 1 for project number J26. Corrected to project number G03, library flooring for Davis carpet not to exceed $1,000. Per authority by Robinson because he's early, and second by Ballhorn because he's late. Roll call start with Ryder.
Yes.
Councilman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilman Ballhorn?
Yep.
Mayor White?
Yes. Number 23, discussion, consideration, and possible action to approve a special event permit for Canadian County Free Fair Festival held on Country Club Road. Well, let's just see who wants to be the Grinch and not approve this. I make a motion, we approve.
Second.
I got a motion and a second. Roll call vote start with Ballhorn.
Yep.
Councilman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Ryder?
Yes.
Mayor White?
Yes. We'll move on to 24, presentation of financial report. Marcia?
Sales tax was pretty good. On the July report I gave you, of course, use tax was down a little. It went up again a little bit this time, but, it's kind of, looks good, but it jumped around a little.
Yeah, but we were down last couple months, but like Mr. Frazier and I were concerned, but we were watching it like we discussed, and we had a pretty good month this month, but, you know, it was down the last 2 months, so we're in the courting area, like me and Mr. Frazier said, it's still gonna take this next couple months to figure out where we're at. We just got through this month of July, so we got August, September to figure out where, you know, kind of, where we'll kind of go with some of the other projects. Does that make sense?
And I might say, a lot of the new budget amendments you approved weren't necessarily all new stuff. That was projects we had to close last year and carry over,
Sure.
so.
And you noticed that on her sheet that she gave you, all that stuff that we had. And then also, just to make a side note, Marcia, Mr. Frazier, we are taking a lot of projects that you see with the ones you kind of approved tonight with the bridges and other stuff. We're taking those out because they were absolutely done during the floods and the tornado area. We're taking those out of our emergency fund. And we have gone through the process with Karen, is that right, Mr. Frazier, and Amy, both are working due diligently on the FEMA process, and they just started that process with the first couple meetings, is that right, Jeff? But they both worked on this before, Marcia, and they know what they're doing, so they're doing a good job, and we've got all the money back for it. So at least they'll give us a chance and an opportunity to recapture some of that over the next year.
It's still positive to see that the sales taxes are higher.
It is. This month was higher, and like I said, the only thing I want you to keep an eye on, like I was telling you last month, it was the use tax. You know, I'm not worried much for that as I am the use tax. The use tax is overall down, it's still down. And
Down from the year before.
year
yeah.
before, so that's why I wanted, Mr. Lindsay, we're not gonna have an executive session because we're gonna add.
Event is right in front of an intake, and that's what Chris Smith was telling me about, they've extended it up, and it looks like it maybe needs to be repaired again.
Okay.
So, but yeah, we're looking into it.
Well,
It does seem like when the wind's out of a certain direction.
I'm just gonna tell you, it sounds crazy, but I'm a guy that owns a two-story building downtown. I don't know, Roger, you had that problem. But what happens is, well, I probably have more because I have someone living upstairs. What happens is, on those two-story buildings or a taller building, especially when you don't have anything around there like the lake, those vents, and I saw where there was two of them tied together, Jeff. What was all that about? Did you see that? Look up there, it's like they tied two of them together. And anyway, if the draw is not tall enough, what happens, it dries your P-traps out.
Yes.
And I had to, over the years, basically take some water and just put it in the tree traps because the height takes the air and it draws. I had plumbers out there and everything else, and it draws P-traps out. Well, P-trap basically is there to keep the other stuff coming in. So what happens is it dries that out and it smells. And a lot of buildings downtown apparently have that area. I found that over, we could, but my question is, have we had Hicks or somebody out there to look at it? You need to get a
Not
plumber.
recently, but yes.
I would also recommend, get a heat and air guy if it's happening during when the air conditioner's on, cause I've seen where some of the heat and air guys vent or drain them to the
Into the-
P-traps, so when it comes on, it pulls that, vacuum from the P-trap. So I would have a heat and air guy look and make sure it's not
Just to make
drained.
sure, yeah.
You know,
I don't know, I just know when I walked in there to eat, it was like,
We had that problem before. Okay? Okay, Timmy,
No, I haven't.
Tracy,
Nope.
okay, I don't either. Mr. Frazier, we gotta go, you're supposed to remind me. Okay, you got anything to say on this? All right, then I make a motion that we adjourn the city council. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, now let's go to the hospital authority. Mr. Jeremy didn't remind me. I forgot. I told you. All right. It's now 6:36. I now call the Reno regular hospital meeting Tuesday, August the 13th, 2019 to order. Roll call start with trustee Ryder.
Yeah, here.
Trustee Robinson?
Yes.
Trustee Ballhorn?
Yep.
Chairman White?
Yes. Move on to consent agenda. Following item be considered routine. City of El Reno Hospital Authority be enacted one motion should discussion be desired that item be removed from the consent agenda. Consider separately. Number one, approval of minutes from July 9th, 2019. Regular meeting of the El Reno City Council, of the El Reno City of El Reno Hospital Authority. Got a motion?
second.
Second by Ballhorn. Roll call start with Ryder.
Yes.
Trustee Robinson?
Yes.
Trustee Ballhorn?
Yep.
Chairman White?
Yes. Number two, discussion consideration possible action to approve a contract for sale and purchase of real property between Crossroads Point LLC and the City of El Reno Authority. Basically, we want to make sure that you all approved that before we close on the land. So this is one final step to our health facility. We're ready to close, is that right, Matt? And this will give me the authority, and matter of fact, if I want to add, give me authority to sign all documents associated there too. Okay, do I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve the purchase, of the contract or sale purchase of real estate at Crossroads Point and the City of El Reno Hospital Authority Trust, and give the mayor,
And the city manager authority to sign all documents.
that's correct. I got a motion?
We're gonna give the chairman of the hospital authority the.
And also give the chairman authority too. Thank you very much. That's great. Thank you. She covered you, Roger, and you, like Fraser, you know.
You gotta sign it twice.
Yeah. All right. Did you say motion?
I did.
Who seconded?
Ballhorn?
I second it, he
Roll
motioned.
call.
Ballhorn motion, Robinson second.
Lindsay, I'm running the meeting skill. Roll call start with Ryder. Be careful, Ryder.
Trustee Robinson?
Yes.
Trustee Ballhorn?
Yeah.
Chairman White?
Yes. Motion for adjournment?
So moved.
I got a motion. All in favor, say aye. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ryder. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.